Good morning, everybody. We are en route. We're going to bring a piece of farm equipment to the island. I got to stop at the equipment dealer and get a bigger pin, though. I got a pin that's a little sloppy for the hole, so it's really kind of jumping around. But we're bringing the first piece of farm equipment to the island, parking it at another farm, a neighbor's place, for now until we take possession. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Turns out I got all the children with me. Mama's staying at home. She was going to stay home with some children, but they all decided to come, so she's taking a day to rest, get caught up on a few other things like editing, and we will go to the island and see her again soon. So we're about halfway there. It's towing good. I've been checking the hubs here, making sure they don't get too hot. But so far so good. Everything seems to be working out. And all four, keeping an eye on them. We're keeping the speed down just over 80 clicks an hour, which is more than recommended on the tires. But I don't want to take a week to get there either. So we're moving right along and everything's towing well. We did end up buying some lights, the magnetic lights here that we put on. To get some four-ways going while we're driving, also brake lights, signal lights, make her a little bit more legal. And I'll need them when I bring the disc bind as well, which I'm hoping to do tomorrow, drive it down the road. Now it's all of 10 feet wide, so yeah, a little bit more risk involved there, I guess, so we'll be happy to have those lights there. Anyway, that's just plugged in with a 4-plug connector in, so I don't get to use my 7-way yet that I installed here. But the vehicle came with a 4 flat as well, so we're utilizing that right now. This is a farmer's plug here you find on the tractors. I had a really hard time trying to find an adapter from this to my 7-way, so we just went with the 4 instead, because I have good lights on this wrapper. But anyway, one day maybe I'll make a kind of an adapter plug for that. But we'll get back on the road. All right, we got that equipment dropped off. Kind of a neat story there. I'm trying to find a place to put it. I want to get started moving things over because we got a bunch of stuff to move, but I can't go on the land yet. It has happened actually in this area that somebody was going to buy something, and they started taking feed off the place before the closing actually happened, and did some other stuff to the land, and then it fell apart. And the owner of the land was then out, of course, of whatever feed or whatever it exactly was. And so the guy I'm buying from is just cautious, I guess. Although I told him I'm not that kind of guy. Obviously everybody says that, so it doesn't mean anything. So he would like me to wait until until the closing's done before we move anything onto the property or do anything with the property. So I called the local township to see if I could park some stuff there. They said absolutely yes, normally, but not right now because their parking lot's being used by a road paving crew and they need all the space they can get. But they were nice enough to phone around, and they got a hold of one of the town councilors who has a farm not too far from our new farm. And long story short, I parked the first piece of farm equipment there, and now we are back on the road heading home. We might stop someplace to swim yet, but we are on the road. So I can't get over how dry it is here. It has not rained here for quite a while on the island. So yeah, chances of getting the second cut's gonna be pretty slim. We got to work on getting our first cut off yet, but everything's turning pretty brown. And it wouldn't surprise me. I didn't ask, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's some fire bans on. She's fairly dry here. I'll show you some footage of that as we get farther on the road. The other thing I was told going into the store, it is now mandatory here on the island to wear a mask in any place of business. Now, they didn't bother me going in without a mask. At this point, or up to this point, I have refused to wear one. I believe wearing a mask is actually very unhealthy. And I also think the notion of getting sick because of not wearing a mask is ridiculous. Any other cough or flu season, I don't get sick either when people sneeze or cough. I mean, common sense tells you not to sneeze or spit in somebody's face. I mean, we just don't behave like that. So, and there's going to be probably people that watch this and are going to argue with me. You go ahead. But I believe it's ridiculous to wear a mask, and I also think it's extremely unhealthy. Having said that, if we don't have a choice, I also believe we need to work with people, I guess. And I mean, just to wear it to go in the business and come back out probably isn't the end of the world. So I haven't bought one yet, but I'm guessing I'll probably submit to that and also wear a mask. I don't know where this is going, where this is leading. It seems like we have less and less control over our own bodies, which I think is ironic, seeing as everybody's screaming about my body, my choice. But it doesn't seem to apply when it comes to wearing masks or even to this vaccine that they're all bragging about. Yeah, it's interesting how that only applies to certain people at certain times, I guess. But anyway, enough of a rant. We're on the road again. We're chewing on some yummy bananas. And what's the matter, big guy? Anyway, he's fussing about something. But we're going to get on the road. I'm going to turn the camera around. I'll show you a little bit about the brown grass here. And then we're going to head her on home. Good morning, everybody. We're on the road again. Seem to like driving, putting miles on, I guess. We are just leaving the North Bay area, heading south. When I bought the last tractor in Disc Point, the tractor was supposed to come with a bucket, and also there was some things missing on it, like a smokestack, and the seat wasn't working. So they repaired part of the seat, forgot a few things. They did not ship my bucket, and they forgot to put the smokestack on. So we're heading south. I had also bought a rototiller from them, which due to COVID is apparently way behind schedule. That's not their fault. They get that through another company. They source it through, right? And that company, I think, had COVID in the plant or something, or I don't know. So I can't get my rototiller, and we kind of need it as soon as we get on the land. We'd like to put a garden in yet. It's getting very late in the year for that up here in Ontario. So we're gonna just say forget it to that, and I'm gonna see if we can find another one today as well. I did find there's a guy that's been importing them on his own. He had a hard time finding one, and him and a buddy started importing them, as well as a few other pieces, like a potato harvester, which is also what we're interested in getting. So we're going to take a look at that, see if it's any good quality or not. I believe it is actually from China, and I'd much rather buy North American made, but I'm kind of in a time crunch, so we're going to take a look. If it looks like half decent quality, then we'll buy it. If not, then we'll just leave it and think of something else. So anyway, that's what we're en route for now. We got home around 10:30 last night, I think, from the island. I did a bunch of chores yet, and then on the way home, Anissa told me there was a coon. She thought it was a squirrel because he was running around on top of the trailer, and then she heard him on the table that we have beside the trailer, where she has a bunch of her seeds and plants started. And so she went to scare him by opening up the door and go, "Ah!" And it turned out it was a pretty big fat coon looking at her. So when I got home, I was looking around for him while I was doing chores and didn't find him. Went to bed, and then we ended up here and saw him. I turned the lights on, there he was again. So I took a shot at him. I was pretty sure I hit him. He did run away into the bush, and I heard him crackling around in there. This morning I looked around. I can't find a blood trail, and I can't find a coon, so I'm wondering if I missed. I don't know. He never did come back. We had some what we call our pig food bucket, just scraps and stuff from the kitchen sitting there in the yard, kind of as a bait. That's what he was eating when I opened the door to shoot him. Anyway, it was all still there this morning, so I don't think he came back. So either I scared him enough that he didn't want to come back, or I did actually hit him. I don't know how I could have missed him, but it is what it is. So anyway, that's what we're on for today. Come along for the ride. I don't know how interesting it'll be, but that's what we're up to. en route here, and I don't know if I've ever been here before. This is Kirkland, did it say? No. What did it say on here on the side? Kirkfield? Yeah, Kirkfield. I'm assuming that's a town here. I don't know. It looks like a little bit of a locks. I'll turn the camera around for a minute. Alright, so it would appear this device that's way up here can hold a boat. And that looks like a giant ramp cylinder that's lifting it. Because here's another one right here. I don't know if that's for sure true, but there's a bit of a locked door. A boat could come in, you could close the door. And presuming it would then lift it up into the air. And there's another one up there, and that's how it would get to the other side. There's a ladder here, we'll climb up and see if we can look. It's quite a staircase all the way up to the top. We must love exercise, eh kid? Smiley. It's a long ways up. It sure is. There's quite the concrete structure. We were down there, we're still on our way up. Got a ways to go yet. Doesn't look like too many folks travel around here. You know, you're getting a bit big for carrying, eh? Okay, here we're at the top. Oh, I'd say, look at that. So there's part of the canal.
It's going down.
Is it right now? Oh, we better hurry up. Come here, Ginny. Oh, there it goes. That ram's going down.
Hey, this one's coming up.
And that one's going up. I don't know if they did that just to show us. Very cool. Oh yeah, there's a boat in there. See? So he would have come in through these locks. And now this guy's coming up. Very neat. Man, that must have took a lot of engineering to build that. Oh, sorry, Jeannie. I'm guessing this is going to open up. Unless they only use one side. Sure smells like water and fish, eh? Algae. That's neat. So, it's almost the same height here now. And then, did I mention we were in a hurry? And then, yeah, you go back out this way.
Is that one gonna...
I don't know, this is part of the Welland Canal. There's a canal system around here in Ontario anyway that was built by the British Army way back in the day to move troops around quicker. And I don't know, maybe this is part of it. I'm not sure. Give you another idea, there's the van. So we walked all the way up. Cars coming. Goes up over the highway here. It's kind of neat. That's a long way down, folks.
That's a long way down.
Sure is. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me or not with the rain, but that's a welcome sight. Everybody down here has been dry. I just talked to one of my brothers here not too long ago. Says he hasn't had rain for a month. So that's a little ways from where we are now, about an hour farther away to the west. But the last place there where I was picking up the bucket tractor park, they haven't seen any significant rain for 2 months. So you can actually see the lightning and hear the thunder pretty loud now. We've got music playing. I've got earbuds in here for my headpiece and my headphones. We're down to below 70 kilometers an hour. She is just pouring. I got the wipers on full blast. Down to 60 clicks here now. And I'm not kidding, I can hear the thunder just banging out there. I don't know if it'll pick it up on the camera or not. Folks are pulling over here. I actually seen some poor motorbike guy go by. I don't know how he does that in this weather. There, that was a good one. I don't know if that picked up on the camera. That's a lot of water. A lot of guys could use it. And just like that, it's over. Well, maybe not. There's a few drops here yet. But it's wickedly dark behind me. It's not too bad ahead. I can still hear some thunder rolling. But we literally, I only shut the camera off there for maybe a minute. And all of a sudden, boop, we're out. So, it doesn't even look that wet over here, actually. Look at that. The road's pretty dry looking. A bit damp, but nothing like it was behind us. Look at the sides there. Wouldn't surprise me if somebody's going to get nailed with something. Well, obviously they're getting nailed with rain, but kind of eerie looking out too. All right, got another cool project. I've been wanting one of these for a long time to long term. I don't need it right now. Well, I like the engineering on it anyway, but I need one of these. Down the road, we'd like to get into potatoes, carrots, onions, that kind of thing on a larger scale. And these are hard to come by. So this one's not exactly a new one or a gem, but these are work in progress that I'll be getting onto hopefully. So this is an antique potato digger. I got a seat for a feller to sit up on top of here. You can run them handles and drop the scoop in. The scoop would go in, picks up the taters. Okay, there's wheels here. Would have been pulled by a horse at one point. It is wheel driven, that's why it's got these big spokes. It runs off the gears. And then the taters would rattle up on there. All the dirt rattles off on these, falls onto the secondary, continues to rattle off, and then the potatoes fall on top of the dirt here. A lot of the new ones you see, and I almost bought one. I was going to buy one today. It was significantly more money. They have a very short rattle platform, so actually the potatoes rattle down and a lot of the dirt lands on top, whereas this one's a lot longer, which is why I want it. Now, it needs a lot of work. All the components are there, but obviously it's been a lawn ornament for a long time. You can see the pitting on the rods here, so I'll end up replacing a lot of that stuff. But it's got the main components of what we need, and hopefully we can get it going soon. Even having all these rods, all this stuff. For the price I paid for it was basically scrap price. So very happy with this find. I had to drive a piece to get it, and I still got to get home. I also got soaked in the process. I got a free coat out of the mix-up from the international dealer, so at least I had a coat to put on. But yeah, looking forward to that project. It won't be anything we get around to right away. It's just going to sit on the farm. But I know they're really hard to come by. I've been looking for quite a while for one of these. So happy I found one in the price range that it did. So apparently the madness continues. We're now forced to wear these ridiculous things, although they've been proven not to even be effective or work. The kids actually, not even me, I was still talking to a gentleman in the parking lot. The kids had to go to the bathroom and they were banned from going in the store without a mask. The kids almost peed themselves. Thankfully the gentleman I was talking to, nice older feller who liked my potato digger, he had some masks, and what he said, here, come here, and he gave us a bunch of masks so they could go in and go pee. But absolutely absurd. It's a catching fad here apparently. Everybody's wearing them. One by one, all these townships are giving in and wearing them. And like I said, it's been proven these things don't even work for viruses. It's absolutely ridiculous. But we have no choice but to comply. But it is ridiculous. And another thing that has been proven is that these things are actually extremely unhealthy for you. For me, going in and out of the store quickly, not a big deal. But for the poor workers that have to wear this thing for an 8 or 10 hour shift, that is extremely unhealthy to breathe your own foul air in. And again, there's going to be people that don't agree with me. That's fine. You can either post your comments or keep your thoughts to yourself. But I, for one, don't agree with it. And you will not find any scientific proof to back up that wearing this is going to help. There's my rant. Just to add to my earlier rant, the most ridiculous part that I find of it is that the kids were in, they were pointed to where the bathroom was, and then one overzealous employee comes over and says, excuse me, you can't go in here because you don't have a mask. Ginny was allowed to come in because she looks like she's under 2, so she would have been allowed to stay in there by herself and go pee. Very good parenting there. While the other ones were going to be kicked out because they didn't have a mask. Now, how ridiculous is that? The 2 and younger crowd apparently doesn't matter. If you believe face masks work, then you're basically saying that the 2 and younger crowd are allowed to go ahead and die because it don't matter, and it's just the older ones that need a mask. Now, how absurd is that? Either everybody has to wear one or nobody has to wear one. I think it's just nuts. And I'm not saying that COVID isn't serious, and I think there is a risk category of people. Those people should stay home or wear a mask. We should do what we can to help them and do what we can. But I do not think it's right to mandate that everybody has to wear a mask. It's ridiculous. Now, I've been just informed by somebody else that there is a site available, something True North Patriots or whatever, and they have a declaration, a page you can print off to say that under the Canadian Human Rights Charter, we do not have to wear a mask. So I'm going to look into that some more. Maybe that's something I can take along. At this point, I felt like we were forced to. I mean, Cora came out almost in tears. They had to go to the bathroom, bad, and then all of a sudden to be kicked out, discriminated against because you don't have a mask. I think it's absurd, absolutely ridiculous. We complied because I felt like we had to in this case, but maybe it's something we need to look into more, and it's time we stand up for our rights and freedoms. And again, I understand many of you probably don't agree with me and think that we're being ridiculous. Well, you know what? Like I said, there's a proven risk factor to wearing a mask. It's not healthy for you. It's definitely not healthy for you psychologically, but it's also not healthy for you physically. Breathing your own stale air all day long is not good. And again, there's zero evidence to prove that these masks help. Even the World Health Organization, who I think is a half fraud, even they came out and said these masks will not help. And now all of a sudden there's an about face, and to make the general public feel more at ease that they're doing something, they're now saying, yeah, go ahead and wear a mask. But they've already said they do nothing. It's basically just to stop, to avoid being shamed for not wearing a mask, is basically why everybody is now mandating that you have to wear a mask. And yeah, that goes against my human rights. I have rights too, or at least I should. I used to, could have, once upon a time. Now that I'm done ranting, the one reason that fella was talking to me in the parking lot is older gentleman, super nice guy. He's also from a Dutch background. I think he said his family moved here in 1952, I think he said. His father actually served in the army against Nazi Germany when they invaded Holland at the beginning of the war, as my grandfather actually did as well. His father was missing for 13 months. His mother did not know if he was alive or dead. So quite an interesting story that he was telling me about. I'm very fascinated by that. I love all things history, which is one reason why I extremely dislike the fact that these irresponsible kids nowadays are knocking these statues over and thinking they're cool or something. They got too much bloody time on their hands. They need a job. Thought I was done ranting. Apparently not. Anyway, we were talking about the reason he pulled over is because he's seen the potato picker on the back, and he's like, where did you find one of those? He's been looking for one, and he'd love to have one. I think he probably would have bought it off me right then and there if I would have sold it to him. I told him, no way, I've been looking for one of these for a long time. I don't want to sell it. He got overzealous this year. He said he planted 8 rows, about 100 feet long, potatoes in a friend's garden. Now he doesn't know what he's going to do because it's going to take a while to harvest them all. So he'd love to have a potato digger. But anyway, we got chatting about it. You just don't see too many of these things around anymore. They're hard to come by. In people's fence lines here and there, you'll see one, but I have seriously been looking for quite a while, actually. And they are extremely hard. I'm very, very happy with our find here today. So, sorry, John, you can't have my potato harvester. All right, so anyway, all in all, it was an eventful day. We are almost back at the 400. We still got, I'm going to venture to say about 3.5 hours till we're home, so we'll be pushing probably 11:30 anyway before we're back to the trailer. So we will carry on in that. We will leave you with that, and just wanted to add to that. One reason we don't like these masks as well is that Anissa has issues with her lungs from time to time. Build up in there, and she's very worried about wearing these masks. The one time she had to wear it already. She had an appointment at the hospital, and yeah, just issues breathing, stressed out all over. It's just not good, and that's maybe milder than some people's conditions, but still, for her to wear a mask is not a comfortable thing, and it also poses a serious health risk with her lungs filling up. So we are against it and willing to take a risk on getting whatever it is that we might get. So anyway, we'll leave you all with that, and I just want to thank you all for watching, coming along on our journey, and I hope you will continue to come along. We've got some cool, exciting stuff coming up with our new property and developing it, putting gardens in, getting the hay off, and starting on our build yet this year. The drafting people are going to begin on drafting the plans for our new home on Monday, so we're very excited with that, and we will unveil those plans whenever we get them, I guess. And we got to get that in to get a building permit pulled for the property so we can start building. And like I've said before, we probably won't get the whole thing done this year. We would definitely like to get the house portion done, so we have somewhere to go in, or at least half done, so it's insulated and warm, and we can move in and not have to sleep in a camp trailer over winter. But yeah, all in due time. So come along for that ride. If you're new to the channel, check us out. We've got a whole whack of different videos on our page. Go there. You can also check us out on Facebook at Countryside Acres Homestead, and we love hearing feedback from everybody. It's a wonderful family that's going, and lots of good feedback and encouragement, and we like to keep it that way as well. So come along and give us a big thumbs up too if you haven't done that yet. The more of those the better. We were at 600 subs. I think we might be at 599 or something like that now again, but we're still hoping to do a giveaway for the 600, so stay tuned for that as well. So we'll talk to you all later.